Hey everybody, welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Hope you're all doing well. I'm currently just driving towards a job. I had started this video, but oh god, I've completely missed where I'm going as well. Great. Right, turning around. It's night time as well, so I can't really see anything. And also, when I've decided to record this is when my the sunlight is really beaming into my room at the minute. It's very frustrating. Anyway, yeah, I did start this. I'm like 20 minutes away. It's not gonna. Let me just check it. So this was the one I was choosing. Expires in an hour. Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. So we're going to go to Eugene in Oregon. I like Oregon. I'm looking forward to going there again. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should be in that lane, so let's get in this one. Well, maybe I should be because I'm turning left. I don't know. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I did start this, but I had a phone call, which I was waiting on, so I wanted to... I can't go left, okay. I had to stop and then take that call, but should be fine now, hopefully. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I decided to record some American Truck Simulator today because I was just feeling in a little bit of a funk, really. Just feeling a little bit down this afternoon, I think, in general. I think the whole moving situation is really affecting me. I mean, I know it. I mean, I don't think it's affecting me. It is affecting me. Oh my god, where on earth are we going here? Oh, we can go that way. There's like, I mean, I don't know. There looked like there was green. There was red, green, yellow. There was all the rainbow. I'll take the 600 quid. I don't mind. Yeah, I'm just was in just a bit of a funk, I think, because of that. And I was just sitting there for like 40 minutes, just looking at the games, going, "What do I want to play?" And there's just nothing. Was shouting at me. To be honest with you, and it's kind of a bit gutting when you're kind of like that, because I also feel bad then, because I'm like, I should be recording and trying to get as much of a backlog as possible before I go back to work, so I don't. That's close. Yeah, so I don't have to feel under pressure at work or when I move or whatever to get everything set up and going. I can take my time on it and still put things up each day. Oh, that trailer kind of appeared from now on. But also, I do actually have quite a lot of videos, so I'm just harsh on myself, really. Yeah, it's just a bit of a funk because I was like, things start to build up. Like, you can get away with some things for a little while, like not having a desk, for example. You can get away with that for a little while, and if you use a console, you're probably wondering what the heck I'm on about, because you don't have to have a desk. But when you just have a controller and that does everything, you're fine. When you need a keyboard, a mouse, and a controller, and then other controllers, or 2 keyboards and 2 mice, because you have 2 PCs, everything starts to get quite complicated. And what you need is a nice desk to be able to set everything in its right place and know where it all is. And when you can't do that, it becomes incredibly frustrating. And it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and then you're just like, this is driving me crazy. You know, and I'm streaming tonight, and again, it's a tough room because it's got like one window and it's like a little skylight window, so we don't get a lot of air in here. It gets very hot, but then that skylight window directly aligns up with the sun at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, between about 3 and 5 in the afternoon. So it just becomes unbearably hot, and it becomes you just have the light shining right in your eye, so you get like massive reflection everywhere. I realise this is all first world problems, by the way. Like, there's some people out there who actually do have problems. I'm just kind of venting because it's good therapy for me, I think. But yeah, it's just really frustrating at the minute with the house, because it just goes on and on and on for so long, and you're just like, at what point can someone just sort it out? Like, there's no need for these things to take this long. It's ridiculous. You know, like buying a house in the UK is, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but it is just utterly ridiculous. I appreciate, like, it's a big purchase and there's mortgage and banks want to make sure that everything's right and you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But, you know, it is just so dumb. Like how long everything takes. And of course, you know, we haven't been helped by the current, you know, current global situation. You know, obviously that has... how long do we have left? 48 minutes, we're fine. Obviously the global situation, you know, was not in our favour, but I feel like even after that, it's just been so lackluster from people, solicitors, estate agents, etc., that it's just incredibly frustrating. Oh, we've got a double truck up there. Double truck. Okay. At some point I'm going to buy a trailer, I think, as well. Yeah, so I don't know really. I might go for a walk or something like that and try and get out of this funk. Because it's just annoying me. And yeah, you know, it's funny because I think when there was like the well, let's say when there was the pandemic, but when yeah, it first hit and everything like that, it was like, listen, it really didn't, you didn't have to think about that much really, because it was just like an ongoing thing and you were just like, okay, it's fine. But I think now the frustrating thing is that I really wanted and needed to be moved before I went back to work, and I'm going back to work now probably less than 3 weeks. It keeps getting pushed back as well, so I've been quite lucky. I was supposed to go back at the beginning of July, but for reasons I've gone into before and here, that you know, films got delayed, and so the cinema's not opening quite on time. But I think like one of the issues is that now I'm like, I've driven into work a couple of times and it's like a 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that like 5 days a week for a period of time. Like, it's really tough, especially when I'm coming back into this with like no work stamina, you know. It's gonna be severely like well, when I did it for a couple of days, I was basically in bed by 8:30 each night because I was just exhausted from it, which is really bad. But I mean, that's what happens when you don't work for 5 months, isn't it? As much as you want to turn around and be like, oh, I'm keeping myself busy, and I have kept myself busy, it's not work busy. You know, it's not mentally engaging you like that and then engaging you for 4 hours driving. It's yeah, it's not. So if it worries and frustrates me that we won't be moved by the time I go back to work, and then that also worries and frustrates me because then I'm like, I want to be able to do stuff around the house. We don't need to do a lot, but I mean, like unpacking, getting things in the right place, sorting it all out, you know, getting all my cables sorted around the house and getting everything just set up and running before I go back to work would be really useful, because that's when I have the time. And it just feels like a total waste of time when I am, you know, sitting here in a funk, you know, when I could be doing stuff at the house. It's incredibly frustrating. And yeah, it's not anything to do with us that's holding us up, it's other people, and that's also frustrating because then you're like, well, you're just powerless basically to you know, to sit here and just wait. So it's really annoying. I can't, like, I recommend people getting their own house and stuff like that, obviously, you know, like the freedom associated with that and the security that you kind of feel with it a little bit as well, it's obviously unrivaled. But my god, it is a pain in the backside to do everything. It really is. Yeah, it's just incredibly slow. I can't complain too much. As I said, because everything got delayed, we saved about £2.5 in stamp duty. That would be nice. You know, there's still... That guy just smashed into the back of me and I was in the slip lane. Unreal. I mean, you can see I didn't get the crash thing there, which meant he just smashed into me. But I did damage my truck by 1%, which is annoying. So yeah, I thought I'd record this, but I have actually had quite an interesting week. You know, it's just today that I've been in a bit of a funk about it. Like the rest of the week, I've been fine. Well, yesterday actually, as I record this on the Thursday, was my birthday, and I had a lovely day. We went for a really nice meal in the evening to a restaurant in Colchester called Grain, which is really, really nice. If you're in the area, I'd 100% recommend it. Not kind of crazy expensive. I think we spent about £60 on food for 2 of us, and that is like 4 courses. And we spent like another £40 on drinks because we were having cocktails. But you know, not actually crazy expensive, I don't think. It's like £50 per person, which, yeah, you can't go every day to a restaurant like that, of course. But yeah, as a nice birthday treat or something like that, it was really awesome. And the food is exquisite, I will say. It's like kind of, you have like 4 courses because all the courses are a bit small, but the basic concept of it is it's like earth, sea, and then like, well, the basic concept of it is you have like this kind of vegetable dish to start, you have like a sea fish, and then a meat dish on it. And you can obviously choose whatever you want on there. They're all kind of they're all the same size, basically around about the same price. It's about between about £7 and £10 for a course, which is totally reasonable for what you get. The food is so good. It's all kind of like really good quality ingredients. A lot of it quite locally sourced, and it was just an amazing meal. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so we had a great time then. On Tuesday, so the day before, I was at work. I drove in. The like CEO was like coming to see us, and we were looking at what kind of upgrades we were going to do to the place before we reopen, which is cool. Really happy with like the stuff we were discussing and what was going on. I really, really like my job and the company I work for. It's very relaxed, but also it's relaxed in a way of like, you know, sometimes you can be like determined, motivated, and push, but in a relaxed way. You know, it doesn't have to. Some people feel like the only way like you are actually doing something is if you're doing it like, you know, in a really stressful way. And I don't get that with our company. It's not like they've always been like, we don't want to be like corporate, you know, we're very kind of like relaxed, but we get results because we, you know, get the right people in, we do things the right way. And wow, he really slowed down. That totally screwed me over. There we go. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and that was a good day. Yeah, and then I had a decent weekend. Actually, had a funny weekend. So we went. We decided on Saturday we went into town, masks on, obviously, and more button. There we go. We went into town and did a little bit of shopping. Oh god, I didn't even look at the light. Oh boy. We did a little bit of shopping. You know what, I need to actually stop here because we are getting tired and we're quite low on fuel. That's the repair place. We could actually repair ourselves while we're here. I just want a service, thanks. 500 quid. need to configure my truck. Yeah, I'll do that when I go up another couple of levels. This is the tricky bit, probably. So I'm going to go and try and do like a really deep turn into this end one. That should be okay. Come on. We fill her up with petrol, and then we'll have a little nap, and we'll feel much better. Yeah, so at the weekend we went to a place called Dedham Vale, not too far away from where I kind of recorded the little walk thing I did, and that was good. However, we went there, and it's kind of like along a river, and you can hire boats and things like that, and it was a really nice day. And I think that was part of the problem, because there were so many people around, and obviously you could social distance. But people, you know, I'm sure you've all seen it, where people are just not really bothering very much, it feels like. Oh, okay, there's just no exit here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I'm so tempted to just drive over that. Sod it. Oh, there's a big old truck headquarters there. Look at that one. It's nice. Okay. There we go. Yeah, anyway, we went there, and it was quite busy. So, and then we were kind of carrying on walking up this river, and then we had to kind of turn back because the bridge which should take you over had been like closed down because apparently it was structurally unsound. So we were like, oh, okay. We're walking the dogs at the same time. We saw a guy as well who had like a big dog, and then he just let the dog like shit in the middle of the field and just didn't even bother to pick it up. Like with all these people around, all these kids around, stuff like that. I was like, what a scumbag. But anyway, so we're going there, and as we're walking along with the dogs, Martha, who's our French bulldog, my girlfriend's like holding her lead. Anyway, she's kind of walking in front of me but off to my right, and then she obviously sees something like a dog or something like that just off to the left, and she whips across, and her lead, like nylon lead, rips against my leg, and I've got probably like I'd say maybe a 5-inch across burn on my leg from this rope. I can't tell you, at the time it was very, very painful. Like the immediate thing, like afterwards it was like, wow, that's sore, and it came up as like a red mark like immediately. So I was like, okay, I know this isn't going to be good. And the initial pain was like, it was like someone had put like a searing hot poker, you know, against you. Like the friction burn was like, oh god. Anyway, it's a few days later, obviously now, and it's big and red, and it's not infected or anything, luckily, but it's scabbing up now, and yeah, it's going to be fine, but at the time it was very painful. So that happened at the weekend, which was interesting. So yeah, and I've just been kind of recording videos and getting on with stuff and trying to get things set up, and I've been doing a bit of packing as well. My girlfriend is an avid book collector, and she packed up all her books, which was 25 boxes of books in the end. We've done like a tally, and there's like nearly 1,000 of them, so yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. We put a load of our clothes in like vacuum packs. They're quite good fun if you've ever used those, where you just like stuff everything in this bag and hoover it, and it like sucks all the air out and like squishes it down. It's pretty good. This is nice here. When I went into work on Tuesday, actually, I recorded the journey, the drive-in, which I thought would be quite nice. My camera unfortunately ran out of battery halfway through, because I did have it plugged in, but it obviously had like a dodgy cable because it just wasn't charging. And But when I go in again next, I've got to go in on the 6th of August, so was that like a week tomorrow or something, I think. Might actually be a week from today, actually. To do a stock count, end of year stock count. I'll do the second part of the recording on there. So it did like about 50 minutes worth of recording, like my little GoPro as a dash cam, and then ran out of battery. They don't have very long lasting battery GoPros, but to be fair, they're very, very small, so what do you expect? If you can plug them in and they charge, you know, so you can use them like permanently, which is why I use it as a webcam. But it yeah, I think I had a dodgy cable. I think the cable had given up the ghost, my USB-C cable in my car, so it doesn't really matter, but did run out of battery, so that's a little disappointing. But as I said, I can do the second half of the journey there. And the first half was alright. I kind of was watching it and I was like, I was contemplating doing like a voiceover like this, but I was actually like, I just like the car sounds, you know, the car like engine ticking over nicely, and the indicators and little sounds and stuff like that which you can hear, whether it's the rustle of a crisp bag or whether it's like you know, my drinks bottle just rolling a little bit to the side in the footwell where it fell into halfway through the journey. Yeah, those sort of things I quite liked. So yeah, it was nice, and I've really been enjoying doing those like different things. Like I did, I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I did like a football like role play as a like scouting agent thing, and I had so much fun doing it because I was actually doing some like editing, but not like boring editing. Like it was like fun editing, and I was learning things on like Premiere Pro, which I have to say, having used Sony Vegas for a while, Premiere Pro is way better. Like astoundingly better. Like easier to use. The rendering takes like 10 minutes. On like Sony Vegas it would take like 2 hours. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it's so much better. Yeah, so I was really enjoying that yesterday. Actually, I probably spent about 6 hours on it. But as I said, I had to learn how to use Premiere Pro at the same time. So just doing things like, so the way I did it was as if it was like a Zoom call, and so I had like the laptop in screen, and then I like superimposed my recording of me talking to the camera onto the front of the laptop, so it looked like it was coming from that, which I thought was kind of a cool idea. I don't know what people thought who were like watching it. The response seemed to be pretty good as of this time. It doesn't have one dislike, so I was like, that seems to be alright. And it was also my biggest like video in a while, so that's nice. But it was just one of those ones where just the video just kind of came to me, and I was just like, yeah, that would make a cool video. And then the like creative juices started flowing, you know, and you got like, I was like, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? And then sometimes the ideas I had, I was like, no, this is too much. You know, I need to, you know, scale this back a little bit and keep it a bit simpler and do this, and you know, or maybe like I'd like to do this, but that is outside of my ability. You know, just yet, like try and do something a bit simpler. So like, even though, you know, it's only like I don't know what it was, a 40-minute video or something like that, you know, taking 6 hours to complete, including a lunch break, I would say. Yeah, it's not really a long-term solution for my time, unless I was doing this like full-time. But it was nice to do and do those things as like a one-off and a bit of a change, as I said. Yeah. And kind of speaking of doing things full-time, I was actually watching a video by an ASMR artist called ASMR Muzz. It's a Scottish guy. I think he lives in Canada, Nova Scotia, I think he said he lives in. And he was talking about like creator envy and stuff like that, and just being kind of frustrated with the way things go on his channel and stuff like that. And I was like, I responded to it. I'll go through what I kind of responded, but just to kind of talk about it, I guess, is like, it is something I think that everybody suffers from, but people in different degrees, like creator envy, because you do see it either kind of works some ways in where you like, even if you're making good content yourself, when you watch other people's content, you're constantly like, this is so much better than mine, this is so much better, you know, I shouldn't be doing this because this person is way better. Or you get the other side where you often are like, well, mine's much better, but this one got way more views, you know, and you're like, why is that? Why did the algorithm favour this video over my video, you know? And you drive yourself crazy, honestly, yeah, going down those lines. It's the thing I'm always like a big advocate of with YouTube is like, by all means, don't leave anything up to luck. So make sure that you are checking your analytics of what's doing well, you're making sure your tags are relevant, you're making sure you're doing all the things you should do, like putting cards in, putting end cards in, you know, putting your little hashtags on it, making sure you link into stuff in your description, making sure your title's good, making sure your thumbnail stands out. You know, do all those things by all means, but don't beat yourself up about it, because some people do, and it's just not worth it because you don't control it. You do all the things you... Okay, we can bypass it. Do all the things you can control. You know, do those to the best of your ability, and then whatever happens, happens. And it's difficult sometimes. You get very locked up in views and watch time and all that, you know, malarkey, because it feels good. You know, there's no way it doesn't feel good when you have a video. And, you know, like yesterday I posted the role play and it felt good that it had done double the numbers of any of my last 10 videos, you know, in the same time period. And that feels good. And, you know, you get the endorphin rush, you know, oh, this is great. You know, at no point was I in any way thinking like, oh, this is going to be the one, this is going to be the viral one. Like, that's not going to happen with my content. It's just not the type of content that goes viral. But you know, I was thinking like, that's really cool. I'm really, you know, you get a buzz out of it. But then of course, you know, my next 10 are not going to be like that, and it can really affect you if you let it. And I don't know if there's a surefire way to, or a foolproof way of avoiding that kind of that. Are you serious? He just literally stopped there for no reason. What an idiot. Yeah, I don't think there's a foolproof way, but the reality I always kind of like just say to myself is like, again, just do everything to the best of my abilities. So is the video, you know, up to my usual standard? Yes. You know, or I don't even mean like, is it to a good standard? I mean like, you know, some people, you know, if you're at least hitting the same standard but trying to improve all the time, then you're kind of doing something right, if that makes sense. Nobody ever became like a YouTube master within their first 2 videos, you know, so it's kind of, you know, silly to constantly be like, is like, you know, the quality, you know, the best quality on YouTube? Like, you're probably not going to have that, but you can do, you know, as long as it's like, am I doing like my best here? Have I done my research on this video? Am I making sure I'm hitting the right tags, the right hashtags, as I said, all that type of stuff? And if the answer is yes, then and so long as the biggest question is, am I enjoying this process? And so long as that is yes, then that's all you can do, and just look back at it and be like, well, you know what, sure, that video might not have done so well, but I really enjoyed doing it. I got a lot out of that process. It was a lot of fun. And if it isn't fun, then do something else. And I don't mean like, don't do YouTube, I mean like, find videos that you make that you do enjoy and that you like doing. Because firstly, like, life's too short to do things that you really don't want to do, and secondly, people can tell if you're not enjoying something. People know on YouTube or anything, streaming, whatever. If you're not into it, if you're not zoned in, they know. And you won't, you won't increase your subscribers, you won't increase your followers. It just won't happen. So, be careful. And I mean, thirdly, the thing is always, ASMR Mars was talking about it, and I've seen other people kind of talking about it as well, which is this kind of like, this elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow of like doing YouTube full time, and what that looks like. This truck driver in front of me is a total idiot, by the way. Wow, I'm so glad he turned off. Yeah, this elusive kind of goal of doing YouTube full time. And I say kind of elusive because I don't think it's what it's cracked up to be. People talk about, oh, I'd love to be able to do YouTube full time. I'd love to be able to do this. And I think to a certain extent, there is a lot of enjoyment out of it. Talk about doing something you love, I do something you love, you'll never work again. I don't think that's the case, and I think that is quite insulting to a lot of people who have made it on YouTube. Like, I think they work hard, and I think they continue to work hard to stay at the top of their peak. Like, I don't think there's any kind of easy life of like, yeah, it's been great. 5 days a week, I'll just get up and watch TV, and then like I'll crack out a couple of videos on another day, and I'll just watch the money rake in. I don't think it's like that at all. I think these people who are at the top of their game are grafting away. Even the YouTubers I pretty much despise, like the Paul brothers, are out there grafting every day. Like, not in a good way, really, and I'd rather they didn't, but they are. That you can always be like, God, I'm seeing this guy like everywhere. And it's because they are everywhere. They know that to stay at the top of their game, they need to be everywhere. Like, this elusive thing of like, I think if I can just carry on doing what I do, and I'll make 100 grand a year and everything will be great, is nonsense. Because as soon as you start treating YouTube like a job, it's a job. You have to then look at, so say for example, I quit my job and I do YouTube full time. Obviously it's not in any way going to happen, but if I did, I'd have to be making content that I didn't want to make just to pay my bills. How is that good? And you might be like, well, actually the content that's really popular is actually the content I really like the games that are really popular I really enjoy. So I love playing Fortnite, I love playing Warzone. Yeah, but guess what? In a couple of years time, they won't be the games that you're paying your bills with. It'll be something else. It'll be the next new game that comes out. It'll be something else. Because if you look back over the last 7-8 years, it constantly changes to what it is. Don't like Hearthstone? Guess what? That's where the views are. Don't like World of Warcraft? Guess what? That's where the views are. Like, it's this constant thing. And sure, sometimes... And then you have the flip side of it, actually, where, say you are like really into Hearthstone. I love Hearthstone so much. I'm just going to focus on this, and you become big. You've got like 100,000 subscribers just from playing Hearthstone. And you're like, this is great. I'm raking it in. I've getting loads of like followers and subscribers, and I'm a Twitch partner. Well, they change something in the game, and suddenly you don't like the game anymore. Well, guess what? You've got to carry on playing that game because that's your living. You can't turn around and be like, you know what, guys, we're going to play something different because actually I don't quite like the new update they've done for this game. Or maybe you just fall out of love with it because you've been playing it for hours and hours every day. Well, guess what? You can't. That's your life now. So, because the hardest thing to do, the hardest thing to become a streamer at is variety streaming. It's incredibly tough to be that person, and so I really think it's like a very like people are going into it with rose-tinted glasses, or they're just looking at all the positives without seeing any negatives of like doing something like this full time, where like you're constantly thinking about content all the time. I do it now, and I kind of hate myself sometimes, where I'm like, we're going for a walk, and I'm like, oh, is this content? Or like last night, we go for a meal, and I'm like, take some of these pictures. I wonder if I can make a video out of this. You're like, Stop thinking about content all the time and live your life, you know. It's the same process where you're going to concerts and holding up your phone, recording it. Like, we're living for content at the minute. And we're welcome to Bend. That's where the people who made Days Gone are from, right? Yeah. Yeah, Sony Bend. That's cool. So yeah, my advice is always like, be super careful what you wish for. Really. Like, I love my job partly because it's a job, if that makes sense. Like, I can kind of do other things outside of the work. It gives me the time to do it. I enjoy the kind of day-to-day work of it. I enjoy meeting people, talking to them, doing that type of stuff. I enjoy the kind of business side of it as well, because it's not my money. As soon as it becomes my money, that's when I probably would stop enjoying it, when I was worrying each month about how I'm going to pay my rent, because, you know, my video didn't do so well, or suddenly, you know, instead of hitting, you know, have, you know, 2,000 subscribers a month, it's gone down to 1,500. Is my channel dying? That constant worry, you know. Because I often think about it, like, these poor, like, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have that much sympathy, but, like, imagine you're like a massive YouTuber and it's just declined to a point whereby you have to get a job. Like, what job can you get? Like, what did your skills really set you up for? It's, you know, it's a tough one, I think. Not to mention that, like, if you were kind of, like, I mean, for example, I've been recognised, like, at my job before by someone, which staggers me. Like, I have such a small subscriber base. It staggers me that somebody actually came up to me and was like, sorry, you, this guy, and he, like, had my YouTube channel on his phone. And I was like, yeah. And I was working at the time, so I couldn't really say anything. But, you know, I was, like, super, like, surprised. Like, stunned would be the word I would used at the time. And, yeah, so if you were somebody who had a substantial, like, viewer base, oof, you know, it's a tough one. It really is. So, yeah, I think, like, you know, I replied to, like, ASMRplays, this kind of thing of saying, like, this kind of romanticized view of, oh, if I can just get to this level in YouTube, like, everything will be okay, because it won't, because you can never stop, you know. It's not a regular salary. You know, I can go to work and I can have a bad day at work, you know, or even a bad month at work maybe, and generally I'll get through it. Like, but if you can't do that when you're constantly on camera all the time doing stuff like that, like, it just doesn't work like that. And I think people find it really tough. I think there's a lot of people struggling in YouTube, and they don't want to say it, because who wants to be that person who's moaning about what everyone's dream is? It's like with professional footballers. You see them and you know, they try and come out and talk about some of the pressures they face, and people just ridicule them and are like, oh, you're getting paid 100 grand a week, just shut up about it. But money doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, pressure is pressure, and also the pressure to keep earning that money, that's something else as well. No, we're coming. We're good. I think we're in Oregon now, aren't we? Yeah, we are, because Bend. It's nice. Days Gone country. I think I'm also in a bit of a funk with video games, kind of getting back to that, because I don't feel like anything's come out, but there's loads of stuff on the horizon. Like, you get to that point and I'm like, because I'm like, I really want to play, like, Horizon Zero Dawn. I really want to play Microsoft Flight Simulator badly. Yeah, they're coming out in, I think Zero Dawn is like a week tomorrow, and I think Flight Simulator is like 10 days later. And then obviously you have your, like, September, October, November releases, which are all massive. We've got big PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X coming. There's so much stuff, like, just on the horizon. And I'm like, oh, I want it to be now. The constant thing, Cyberpunk. I mean, God, Cyberpunk. I often forget. I have days that just go by and I'm like, oh, yeah, Cyberpunk. Like, that is the thing that is coming. I don't think I'll believe that it's actually coming out until probably like a week before, because obviously it's been pushed twice. We should have had it by now. I mean, obviously I'm saying that in an entitled way. At the end of the day, when they release the game, I'd rather they release it ready and delay it a little bit than it come out a bit half-baked. But yeah, it's exciting, to say the least. I think that also kind of gets you in a funk, because you're just like, I want to play this game now. I mean, especially Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm really looking forward to that game. I just think that looks so cool. And I know, like, it's probably going to be like proper saturated content and everyone's going to be doing it, but like, I just want to play it to enjoy it, and the views look incredible. I want to fly over my house, fly over work, do all that type of stuff that people do some proper, like, long haul, distant, like, passenger jet flights and things. Hopefully you can kind of do all that in there, as well as the smaller planes. I know they said they were kind of teaming up with like the air traffic control people who do that type of stuff to, like, because there's people that actually kind of role play like air traffic control, and you can actually like talk to them and request permission to land and stuff like that. Like, super cool. I really hope they kind of do that stuff. I'm not super into flight sims, so I would have to learn a lot, but I think it's pretty cool. And as I said, it just looks so good that it just looks spectacular. So yeah, hopefully it's okay. But I'm definitely thinking I'm going to stream some of that probably. And I've got a HOTAS flight stick as well, for playing like Elite Dangerous and stuff, which, you know, I will say, if you are into kind of flight simulator games, like, definitely invest in like a flight stick. I wouldn't necessarily say for like racing games, get a steering wheel. It does help, but I would say like for flight games, like a HOTAS, if you don't know what that is, it's basically where you have the throttle as well. So you usually have your throttle control on the left side, the stick on the right, and you can control all that. It does make a big difference. It's really good. I think I've got a Cytec X52. Definitely one of the like lower end ones. They go up to ridiculous prices, but yeah, just so good. I'm really looking forward to that game when it comes out, and it's on Game Pass, so I'm not even paying for it. It's ridiculous. Game Pass is ridiculous. Today, as I said, I played some Grounded, and I was looking at Grounded on like Steam, and it was like 30 quid, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I'll get that. And I just happened to log on to the Microsoft Store, and then went, oh wait, I just get it for free with Game Pass. Like, what is this? This is ridiculous. Yeah, like, I feel like there's been a weird thing with like the Microsoft Game Pass. If you're not aware of what it is, basically, there's a different one for PC than there is for like Xbox, but essentially all the first party games that Microsoft release, you just get on for free. It's a subscription service. I think it's like £7 on PCs. It might be a little bit more on Xbox, and then also, but a lot of other like second and third party games are on there as well. You're never going to have like your massive big AAA releases like an Assassin's Creed or something turn up on it when it releases, but eventually they'll probably turn up on there. It's just got a great collection of games, and as I said, like Grounded, for example, is obviously owned by Microsoft, so that's why it's on there. Obviously, Microsoft Flight Simulator is Microsoft. Forza's on there, all Gears of War, No Man's Sky's on there now. There's so much on there; it's ridiculous, and it's just such a good deal. But people are starting now to kind of push back on it. It's a weird thing where they're like, no, this is too good, like it's going to ruin games because developers are not going to make any money out of it and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, did that happen with Spotify? Like, or is it actually fine? Did that happen with Netflix? Or is it actually fine? Because I think a lot of people who, I don't want to be like it's a fanboy war, but I feel like a lot of people who are criticising it might just have that PlayStation and maybe trying to feel better about themselves. And listen, there's nothing wrong with owning a PlayStation. I do. Like, they make great games, and I don't regret any of the purchases I've made for, apart from God of War, actually, because I didn't enjoy that. But otherwise, you know, the first party games, which are like £40–50, I've not regretted buying those. I've had great experiences with them. But undoubtedly, if I only had one choice, like if you said to me, you know, Phil, you've got to, you know, next gen, you're not going to have your PC, you've got one choice, what do you want to do? I would go with an Xbox, because I'd save so much money. And you might turn around and say, yeah, but you're going to miss out on those exclusives, you're going to miss out on Spider-Man. And I'd be like, yeah, I will. But you know what I'll do? I'll probably pick up a second-hand PlayStation 5 in a few years and go back and play it then, because it'll still be there. This whole I have to play everything now is not quite so healthy mentality, you know. The sun is right here. Luckily my sun's actually gone in a little bit now. It's just getting very hot in this room. This has been a really long journey, actually. Still got 65 miles to go. I'm hoping these are going to change by the time we get here. Yeah, they did. Yeah, we're just going to burn part. Ah, see, that's the car I was talking about, like, in saying, like, that is the car I want. I tell you what I would do. I think if I like won the lottery, I would buy that car. I would definitely do it up to a point whereby it was really it was like a lot faster than it looked. Oh, scratching my neck, and I accidentally pressed on the accelerator. Hopefully it'll go. Well, I mean, it's not on the lights, is it? That was totally my fault. He does not look impressed. He actually weirdly looks like one of the brutes from Halo. That's a weird one as well, I will say, like the Halo. Like I did a video like talking about the Microsoft conference, and listen, it was good. It wasn't as good as Sony, but it was good, and there were some exciting games on there. Avowed by Obsidian. That could be pretty cool. But man, Halo though, I just don't know what happened to it. Like, not everything has to be like stunningly spectacular, but it genuinely looks worse than the previous Halo. It looks as good as like Halo Reach, like no jokes. And yeah, that is shocking to me. I just don't know what happened to him. I know it wasn't meant to be like a next-gen game. It was supposed to come out this generation on Xbox, and they kind of had to delay it. But I mean, even if you've got to take like a little bit longer just to spruce up the graphics a bit, just like do it. But it's embarrassing, you know. Like, Sony come out with something like The Last of Us 2, which is like a magnificent game, and they're coming out with that. I don't really comprehend that, but there you go. We're in Eugene, ladies and gentlemen. Eugene. But yeah, so I'm definitely feel better now. I knew I would for kind of recording this video and like forcing myself to do it. I don't know what I'm going to play after this actually. I might chuck the PlayStation on, play some Ghost of Tsushima or something, do some side missions. Maybe not record anything right now, but yeah, I definitely need a game where I can just kind of chill in it and play through myself. That would be good. I like the sunset we've got going on here. It's really nice. This game is looking better and better all the time. They are doing a really good job with it. They are constantly improving the graphics and everything like that, you know. It was never really about the graphics, but you can tell it's got better. Like the stuff, some of the like SSAO and stuff like that they've brought in has just looked really good. It's been a big improvement. This is never going to be a groundbreaking visually game, you know, like Flight Simulator or something, but it is doing a pretty good job. The truck models look amazing. And that's really what counts. We're all here for the trucks, aren't we? Maybe next time I'll look at buying a trailer. Seeing how that works out for us. Eugene discovered. Beaver State. Now obviously I have driven around Oregon before, but you know, as I've said many times before, I did lose the save game data. Same for Euro Truck Simulator, so when Iberia finally comes out I will have to start again, but that's life, isn't it? Okay, where should I place it? Confirmed. I do get Amazon vibes from this charged thing. Here we go. It's probably the best camera to use, isn't it? Here we go. There we go. Easy. 452 miles. Oh, look at us, level 10 already. Or level 9, sorry. Right, it's the long distance we've nearly done. Hazmat transporting, high value, just in time. Let's start cracking into... Actually, you know what? Let's do the last long distance one. And we do 1,000-mile journeys. If we want to. Where's our longest one? 65,000. Look at that. We go through, what, Oregon to Arizona. It's pretty big. Was it's explosive as well. Then to Artesia in New Mexico. That's pretty cool. Goes through Utah as well. I definitely want more Idaho stuff, so I need to use a mouse. That's what I need to do, because I've never worked out how to use that with a controller. So we're in Eugene. Have you got anything going to Idaho that we haven't been to? Idaho Falls. We haven't actually been to Idaho Falls. Good. Okay. Where else have you got? Ketchum, Grangeville, bit there. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, there's a couple we can do next time anyway. Which sound pretty good. But till then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.